Wish to say on behalf of your client?
We just asked to follow the agreement, Judge.
All right, and he needs to sign here.
Knock something over.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Reed, how often have you been using meth? You need to be honest with the court.
That's not my drug of choice. I don't even use meth. My drug of choice is crack cocaine.
Hello,
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Making.
Oh, okay. All right, we have jury trial today.
Yes, Judge, according to my client, he is, filed. I didn't get notice, but he filed a motion to terminate me as counsel. He doesn't want me as his attorney anymore. There has been a breakdown in attorney-client relationship, so I will request a withdrawal as well, but
All right, so Mr. Reed,
Yes, ma'am.
let me explain something to
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
As you know, I've been a defense attorney. I've been a prosecutor.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes the breakdown in communication is, guess what? My attorney came back to me with this offer. I think this offer is ridiculous. And that's the breakdown in communication. But what I can tell you in this court,
Yes, ma'am.
I require that the state tender an offer to the defense. You can think that offer is ridiculous. I always tell people, I like for people to be kind to each other. So you can think it's ridiculous, just don't say it's ridiculous. Or of course, if you want to say it ridiculous, you're more than welcome to do that. But I always find that when people use extreme words, then it truly puts people with their back against the wall. So the way it works is the state tenders an offer to your counsel. Your counsel will tender that offer to you. You can accept it or you can reject it. You can reject it and say in your mind, this offer is ridiculous. I'll only accept A, right? Then you know what will end up happening? That's called a counter offer, and your attorney will go back to the state and say, my client is unwilling to accept the offer you've tendered to me, but he's saying he's willing to accept offer A. And then at that time, excuse me, Mr. Bravanek, we're talking here.
okay.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
So then at that time, the state will tell you, I will give him what he's asking for, or either the state will reject your counter offer and say, no, I'm not going to give him that. And then at that point, guess what? It's jury trial. So that's where you are. This is your attorney who is going to be trying the case. You understand? All right. So if you want to enter an agreement, you're more than welcome to do so. Otherwise, the jury is coming up here at 11. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. All the discovery, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Going to show you, Mr. Reed, what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are waiving the repeat enhancement allegation, Your Honor.
No objections, Judge.
All right, Mr. Reed, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that you're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you enter plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Reed, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial, showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 3 years in the prison. This will run concurrent with County Court Cause number 706865. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Judge.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Judge.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contest.
State any evidence.
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
No objection,
You
Judge.
may continue to confer.
Thank you.
Showing you what's entitled wavering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Judge.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We just asked to follow the agreement, Judge.
All right, and he needs to sign here.
Knock something over.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Reed, how often have you been using meth? You need to be honest with the court.
That's not my drug of choice. I don't even use meth. My drug of choice is crack cocaine. I've been using.
No, but I mean, you had meth in your pocket.
Yes, ma'am, I did, but that's not what I use. I use cocaine. I'm a cocaine addict. I've been there for 20 years. I had a drug problem. I've been having a drug problem for 20 years. I've been in and out the prison for 28 years of my life. I've been in and out of prison. I've been having this drug problem for most of my adult life. I spent in prison. I've been trying to get help and seek help.
All right,
What-
so other than this state, Mr. Reed, could I see his criminal history, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, got about 18 felonies, Your Honor,
Okay.
all behind drugs.
Any objection to the court reviewing his criminal history?
No, Judge.
And after this case, it will be Larry Evans.
Oh, this is a little bit out of line with,
Problem.
it's like, I know.
Oh, you want to just pass it to me, or?
Yes, ma'am, sorry, so there's, it looks to me like the TTIC and the NTIC at times.
Okay.
But I can run a local one right now, so.
All right.
Is that in? Yeah, you got it.
It is, Ron.
Oh, just one moment. I need to see this. Before you pass me anything, you may want your attorney to pass it.
And Judge, this is, the note, just the one. That's the-
All right, I see that you're on parole. What is the status of the parole?
He has a whole judge. They're awaiting this case to make their decisions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And which case is he on parole for?
Yeah,
What are you on parole for?
I have a drug charge. I had 8 years. I served 3 on the 8. And that was in 2018.
All right, so
Just got reduced.
here's the thing. Honestly, I think he has a drug problem. I think he has a heavy drug problem. I know that people are asking for prison time. I'm inclined to give him probation if he applies to it, but if that is going to say you have no plea agreement,
I think the important part for me, Judge, would be, there's a DWI alleged too, that's enhanceable. I would like any sort of agreement to include that. I mean, that's important to me.
The issue that we had when we were negotiating, Judge, is that any plea to the felony is in a cause of revocation. Probation does nothing because now he goes back to prison on the parole case. We were trying to negotiate something for the DWI to go on probation for because his parole officer did indicate that a plea to the DWI and dismissal of the felony is not likely to result in the revocation.
well, here's the thing. I did parole hearing cases before. Of course, some things change as an individual. It depends on your hearings officer. It depends on the parole board. But it seems to me that he has a drug problem. And if I send him back to prison, and I know that parole will give you help with your drug problem, but it appears that he needs inpatient treatment. So Deputy Laura always says that if I made her an offer of prison or probation, she'd just take the prison time because probation is not easy here. So what I can do is I will either sentence you to 2 years in the prison. You get credit for any time you're served. Hopefully you get some help with your drug problem. Or if the state doesn't have any objection, I will place you on probation for 10 years.
Take the probation for 10 years.
Been over ten, Judge?
Yes.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, if you all want to. So what that means, when they're saying 10 over 10, that means if you're revoked, you're looking at 10 years in the prison. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Can I speak?
You know, people always say you talk yourself out of something. But if your speaking is you no longer want the probation,
No,
then,
ma'am, I wasn't speaking now. I'm through talking.
all right, so I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in the prison. It's going to be suspended and probated for 10 years. There's a be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. If for any reason he's revoked on his parole counsel, we can come back and then we can do something with this.
Yes, Judge.
Because I always thought it was weird for somebody to go to prison and then they come out and they're still on probation.
Run into those situations, Judge. Yes, Judge.
So it's regular reporting by Zoom or in person, proof of employment within 40 days of release.
You asked what happened.
Bashan, it's going to be a TAP evaluation in custody. Follow all recommendations of TAP. So if TAP says that there's inpatient treatment for you, there's going to be inpatient treatment.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any children?
They're grown.
Okay. There's gonna be 200 hours of community service restitution. Bill visits one time per month for 3 months. There's gonna be random UAs, random regular UAs. What is the court cost in this, please? That's okay. It's a third-degree felony. This will run concurrent with County Court Cause number 7068865. It's run concurrent with parole. All right, the court cost in this case is approximately $380. Will you be able to pay that over installments?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Probation, is there anything else? Yes, we'll do a referral. Yes, we'll do a referral to felony drug court. And of course, I know they're gonna say he has the parole hold, but at least we'll know beforehand. So we'll also do a referral to felony drug court, and that'll be while in custody. Anything else, probation? Anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. Deputy Laura always says, I would never accept your probation because it's too difficult. This is what you wanted, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're gonna have to make sure that you do what you're supposed to do to be successful. If there's an issue with your probation, let probation know. If you feel like they're not addressing it, you can always come back to court.
Okay. Is
All
there a
right.
possibility of getting off early? If I pay everything and do everything?
Oh, see, you can't start bargaining right now.
Oh.
Just remember this. You were 2 seconds from going to prison.
Yes, ma'am.
And most definitely, if you were going to prison on this case, you would have been revoked on your parole.
Yes, ma'am.
So accept the blessing.
Yes, ma'am. I do. I'm sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me.
Yes. All right. So there's an interpreter.